Okay, so I'm going to break this, my Bristol paper work surface into thirds, starting with a burnt sienna open acrylic. And I'm rolling this on almost like it's a foundation or like putting a wash on a canvas. So here's one, and it will come out unevenly, which I happen to like. 2, 3. Then I'm going to go this way. Okay, now I'm going to create a transfer paper to block out my grid and some shapes some more. So basically what I'm doing is I'm creating the foundational structure, compositional structure of my painting. Okay, so and if this technique does not work for you, you can skip it. I'm just layering it, building in another technique. Okay, now the composition I doodled right before I got online is I'm going to go with a longer focal point. I'm kind of working with the image of a ladder, and so this is on my own. So this is a kind of a test for that. I'll have this larger band and then create sort of this abstract ladder image in there, and then a little here's my other 2 points of interest. Okay, so and then this one is going to be a longer horizontal band right there. And I want this one back here to be really small. So I'm going to draw it in. Didn't really show up all that well. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to switch to color. And I said I wanted to do mostly a study in blue. So I'm going to start with my lightest blue. Which is this ultramarine blue light. This is not an open acrylic. And I'm just laying down this patchwork of color rather quickly. Trying to push back that brown background. Another way of thinking of the brown, Tasha, is earth or dirt. So if you were making a chocolate cake, that's kind of like earth or dirt. and then you build, you know, I'm thinking of cakes that have flowers on them, then you build your color on top of that. And the brown is just kind of the foundation. It's supporting everything else. Okay, so now I'm going to put a darker blue in here. Ultramarine blue. I'm going to do a little bit of sgraffito in here. Like I said, I want this ladder image in here, so I'm kind of suggesting that by scratching through, and the background color ends up being the line of my ladder. Okay, now let's see. I'm gonna do a little titanium buff. What I like about this is I can quickly and loosely block out my composition in a way that's not fussy. Whereas once you get to brushes, it can get a little sort of niggly and fussy. I'm allowing the colors to just blend here.
Laura, it's Tasha. I was just wondering how many drayers you're using?
How many Brayers?
Brayers, yes.
I'm using one.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm using this sort of small one. They do
okay.
come in different sizes. Yeah, I'm not cleaning it. If I want to get paint off, I can roll it off to the side on a piece of paper. But at this point, I'm just, I'm going quickly and I'm not bothering to clean it. Okay, so here's an instance of I've gone over and I've kind of neutralized and pushed that brown back, except for in here, I like some of it showing up, and around here, it kind of creates a little bit of a halo or light from behind. Or if you were in my last class, we went over this thing called the reserve line. It's this kind of haloed line. Okay, a little bit more. Okay, now I'm gonna go back to my ultramarine blue. I really can't tell you how I'm making all of my decisions. Some of it's kind of intuitive, like, oh, I want a little more blue of that light blue to come forward there. Pretty soon, I probably will start using the brush because I want to fine tune. I'm thinking of bringing in, this is a risk, a darker Prussian blue now. It's not showing up as much as I thought it would. Okay, I think I'm switching to brush now. Okay, so I kind of want to push this area back a little bit more. And so it's a dry brush, no water. And I'm just kind of scraping over that to soften that and make it recede into the background a little bit more. It's very dry today. A lot of these paints are already dry. Now I'm adding a little more Prussian blue. Okay, something needs to happen in here. I'm not sure what yet. So oftentimes I like to bring the first layer, which is the burnt sienna, I like to bring it back on top of the top surface. So I'm mixing this in a little bit with that titanium buff and the other blues that are on the palette. And boy, it's really dry. So this creates more of a gray. So what I'm trying to do here is, again, push this back, and I want this to pop forward, even though all the edges are very soft. So that's often in painting, they talk about push pull, getting things to come forward, getting others to recede. So I'm trying to push this whole section back. And have this be front and center. And there's definitely more I could do to this, but I think there's always a place where I stop, a stopping point, where I have to stand back and then figure out what comes next. And my intuition says that I would probably do some very light sgraffito with my transfer paper in there, but I don't know yet. So